showing out, making moves, no doubt. FFA pride, it's what we're all about. From classroom dreams to real world flair, we got the stories you won't find anywhere. Beyond the jacket where the stories unfold, voices of the future, fearless and bold. Tune in now, let the passion ignite. It's more than a jacket, it's a way of life. Beyond the jacket where passion meets purpose.
Welcome back to Beyond the Jacket. We're so excited you're here, listening or watching. Today's guest is proof that you don't have to pick just one path in agriculture. Cacee Bellamy is joining us to share how she balances two incredible SAEs, raising market swine for her local fair and managing a thriving horticulture project that's blooming with creativity and care. Thank you, Cacee, for joining us. We're so excited. I think Paige knows you, which is even more fun. She can give some background on that. But before we get into those incredible SAE programs and projects, can you share a little bit about your background and maybe how you and Paige know each other?
So a little bit about my background is I've never grown up in an agricultural background. Like I wasn't raised around livestock or crops or just on like a house on a pasture. Um, I just had a regular childhood going to school, and then I got to middle school, and I had a lot of people that would always talk to me about their 4-H clubs and about how they did market steers and market swine, and like it got me thinking like that's actually really cool. I didn't know that you could raise an animal and then sell it and you get the money. Like I was like, I want some money. So I got to, I got to high school and I joined the ag program because I had older siblings that went there. They weren't in the ag program, but I knew that was like one of the academies that Arbondale had. And so I joined that class, and right out of the beginning, like the even though like they got the steers like over the summer, the pigs were the first like large animal that they had brought on campus for those pigs to or for those animals to live for the kids to take care of. And so they were like, who wants to do a pig? And obviously my hand was up. I went to those meetings. I did it all. So I did my first market swine, and I think it was like 2023. It was my freshman year, and I went into it absolutely not knowing anything. And I felt like I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing, but I felt like I was doing something wrong. Like I feel like I didn't make the right choice because I didn't really have the people there to support me. Because and also another big thing was I was a very shy kid growing up. If I got in trouble, cried, anything like that. And so I didn't know how to use my voice. I didn't know how to speak up and say, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. Can someone show me how to properly feed this pig or properly walk this pig? And so just that first year, I felt like I didn't belong there. And I was questioning, do I want to do this again? And I think it took all the way up until show to where like my nerves calmed down, everything was good. And I showed that pig and I did good actually. I got second in my class and I sold for about like $6 a pound. So I made my profit
Woo
from
woo,
it.
you go, girl.
So that was good. And then the biggest thing was the advisor seen something in me that I didn't see myself in the beginning, and they thought that I would probably enjoy FFA past just the showing of the animals. So they were very like adamant about, hey, here's this officer packet, and so that was just the start of it, and that's my background. I was just a shy kid, tried something new that I'm proud to say that I did try that because I'm here now and there's so much more things that have bloomed from showing that first pig.
That's
I
so
love that.
it kind of reminded me of when you were talking about how like maybe you didn't know how to show a pig or how to walk a pig properly. It reminded me of that family on TikTok, and the girl is like a death starer when she shows.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it's like I can't remember the
Dad's
name.
involved.
Yes, that.
Yes. And I just always watch their videos because the comments are always super outrageous. People are like, what is she doing?
Or why is
she
she doing that? Like, can she smile? She needs to smile.
Yes.
Maybe that'll do a
And
little bit, do some good for her. But
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
exactly. I also was giggling because the name of your school or your chapter is what again?
Arbondale.
Arvindale. Okay. So we have an Ottoman chapter in Iowa, and then we have a town called Urbandale. And so when I read it earlier, I forgot to tell you this before the call. I kept trying to pronounce it, and I was like, Urbandale. And I was like, no, Urbandale. And then I
What's
was
so
like, I don't know.
funny? What's so funny is I pronounce it Auburndale, but then my George Jenkins friends, like the other Casey, they swear up and down that I pronounce it wrong. Like I can't say how they say it.
Auburndale.
Yes, I don't know. Like I think I say
It
it Auburndale and they say like Urbandale or Auburndale. Like I'm like I this is how I grown up saying it, so like that's how I'm always gonna say it. And so they just like make fun of me for the way I say it.
Oh my goodness, I'll have to, sorry, Rachel, I'll have to call the other Casey, as we call her, and be like, okay, say Auburndale for me. I gotta know the difference.
We'll have to
That's
check it.
funny.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like with names when people are like, "How do you pronounce so and so's name?" And even your Casey is spelled different than other Caseys I know, and I feel like so it's always hard to know. So you always have to ask for the pronunciation of things
Hmm.
between. But that's super amazing that your school provides you that opportunity to, have livestock at the school. I've known quite a few people. One of them that's very successful in the ag industry today, but grew up removed from the farm and was involved in FFA and is now, a phenomenal videographer for livestock or for the livestock industry. And so she's made her whole career based on her experiences in FFA is really where it rooted or where it was rooted in. And so I think that's really cool that you've gotten involved and have taken on just a new role.
Absolutely. So, Casey, we talked a little bit how you got started in FFA. Truthfully, it was kind of one of those situations where you just kind of fell into it and you found a love for it, even though it might have been scary at first, which I think that's kind of a common story for most kids. And you showed your perseverance through not coming from a family farm and not really knowing, which I love. So, walk us through your SAE, how it's grown throughout the years, how you've grown specifically.
So my freshman year and sophomore year, I showed just one market pig for the Polk County Youth Fair, and from that first year to that second year, there was a lot of growth because that first year I was in like fight or flight mode. I was just like, okay, I just need to feed this animal. I just need to walk in. I just need to get out. Like I'm waiting. I counted down the months until this pig was gone because I just felt, I didn't feel like I didn't know what I was doing. So I was like, I just want this to be over. But once I said goodbye to that pig and I realized that kind of, it grew me in a lot of different ways because then once I got that second pig, I knew what I was looking for and like like the way the body looked. And once I got that pig, I fed him correctly, and I had the opportunity to love that animal. My second pig was a barrow, and his name was Banks, and that was probably my favorite pig I've had so far. He was a blue butt, and like the whole chapter loved him. Like everybody knew that
Oh.
he was my pig, and it was nice. But I got him to walk amazing, and I had those skills, the little bit of skills that I had the first year, I was able to apply them and times them by 10 and completely kind of not start all over, but I was able to get out of fight or flight mode and do the best I could. And I had the opportunity to love him. And he turned out, I wouldn't say he turned out better, but I had a better experience with him than I did my first pig. And then my junior year, which was last year, I obviously kept falling in love with the swine industry, and I actually opened it up to doing two pigs. I had a pig for the Polk County Youth Fair, and I also had a pig for Central Florida Youth and Ag. And this was the first year that I held my pigs off campus, so I didn't have them at campus. I had them at a family's house, and I felt like did feel like I was back in freshman year me, not knowing anything because I was doing it all on my own, and I didn't have my advisors to be there and be like, "Hey, um, what's going on? Can you come outside of your classroom and come to the barn?" Like I didn't have that, and so I had to buy everything my own. And this year's pigs were crazy. Like I was like, never again will I get two gilts. Like I just think they just ganged up on me and just it was crazy. But it turned out good, and I did both. I made it to both shows, and my SIEs grow. They grew. So then this year I'll do two pigs again for both fairs.
Wow, girl, you have your plate full, but I like to see the growth. I like to see that your confidence grew just as much as the scale of your project did. I think both of you will enjoy this story. I showed pigs in 4-H before I even knew what FFA was. Man, I didn't know what a blue jacket was if it had hit me in the face when I was a little girl because my family had done 4-H for so long. And my very first pig, which you talked about earlier, Rachel, um, Moonshine, she had two little white feet, and the rest of her was black, and I had to have her, and it was going to be my guilt for the year for the county fair. And I don't know why my brother and I decided it would be a great idea to walk them around the backyard outside of like the walking area pin thing. And we live on a creek. It's fenced and there's a gate, but my brothers like to go fishing, my dad, so on and so forth. Well, the gate was left open. And this girl did not like me. She didn't like my dad. She was just one of those, she was hard-headed, and I think God gave her to me because I was hard-headed and I needed to learn that. But she took off towards the creek. And I remember like little 8-year-old Paige just running as hard as she could go, chasing my pig to the creek. And my mom be like, Anna Page, close the gate. It was like this whole big thing. And then when I got to the fair, she was a perfect angel. She walked, she did everything I wanted her to do. I won showmanship. But no one ever would have believed that to be true if they'd have saw that guilt at the house because, like you were saying, she had no manners at all. And of course, not knowing what I was doing.
Another, like, it goes along with your story, was my pig for Central Florida this past year when I did two pigs. I was considering doing State Fair instead of Central Florida, and but I didn't do that because you can only have barrows for the State Fair. And when I got selection, of course, I drew the biggest, not like the highest number, so I went last. And by the time I got to go pick those pigs, there was no barrows, so I just ended up with a gilt, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do Central Florida. So that did mean that I had to hold her back, like, with, so she wasn't gaining too much because I didn't want her to be overgrown. Well, just over time, having to feed her not as much as I was feeding the other pig, she, like, I think that was one of the reasons why she was always so crazy, was because she was hungry, but I couldn't, she wasn't hungry, but she felt like she needed to eat more. Well, that was like, she just always was like just crazy. And one of the biggest things that happened with her was she actually got out. She somehow opened her gate and got out, and our gates weren't shut. So she went in, like, it's just like a street with like houses with like land. And so she got out, and my aunt, which is where those pigs were at, she was on Facebook, and my pig was on a 6-week crime watch, and someone was like, hey, this pig is out. And the pictures were like she was laying down, and so she looked like she was dead. And so all my, like, I had people calling me, they're like, is this your pig, this your pig? Everybody in the comments was like, oh, please make sure this baby's safe, she gets shown in 2 weeks. And I was just like, and that was the third time she had gotten out. But
Oh my gosh.
once she made it to show, she was perfect, she was an angel, she did good in the ring, and she just,
I think that's so funny. I was going to say that I feel like all of us have a story of when we were in 4-H or FFA or whatever it is of an animal getting loose. And my sister's, she had a sheep that I believe jumped in a river outside of our
Oh gosh.
fairgrounds. So I'll have to ask her for that full story later, but that's what it
Oh my
reminded me
gosh.
of. I wasn't there at weigh-ins, but I know that it was a lot of people trying to help her. um,
Absolutely. Casey, when we first talked about having you on the podcast, you mentioned you had an additional SAE, horticulture. Dive into that. Tell us a little bit about that too.
so my horticulture SE didn't start until my sophomore year, once I got more involved. And I actually was in our horticulture class. And so I did, like, I'm doing the nursery and landscape CD, citrus, vegetable, all those. And so my advisor, Miss Shasky, she's amazing with plants. She can tell you everything. She's got like her head is like a dictionary. She just, oop, this plant, this is this vegetable. So she was like, hey, let you want to show some plants. And so I ended up, my first year I had two sets of plants. One were azaleas and one were crotons. And so then I bought those, and I don't want to call, like, I raised them. I grew them. And then I've shown them at the Polk County Youth Fair, and at the Polk County Youth Fair, when you have horticulture, if you get a blue ribbon, you get to sell. And I actually got both blue ribbons, so I got to sell both of them. And then this
Oh,
past
cool.
year, I I kind of opened my horizons, and I had entered um, a plant for each division. So I had like ornamental, I had bedding, I had a dish garden, I had I had hanging baskets, and I mean things didn't go as how I wanted them. I only got blue ribbons on one set of plants, so I was only allowed to sell one because I had these really pretty orchids. Like when I bought them, I seen them at the horticulture show I went to. I bought them; they were doing beautiful, and I probably would have gotten a lot of money for them. But because of the hurricanes, or the orchids didn't like going in and out. I was at that. I had multiple different sets for the fair, and my orchids didn't do well, so I wasn't able to sell those. But I actually still have them. I don't know what they're going to look like for this coming year. I don't know if I'll be able to show them or like enter them again. But probably this year I'll have sets for each different category and a different variety of all kinds of different plants. So I'll see how this year goes with horticulture.
I do not have a green thumb, so I wish you the best of luck because, like you were saying, your advisor is phenomenal with plant science and things of that matter. Our ag program was really animal science based, so I never got to dabble into the plant side of things. And then additionally, I just have a brown thumb. So I wish you the best of luck with that. What's your favorite thing to grow, Casey?
Um, Probably, I don't know. That's a hard question because I haven't really grown much, but I do. Our facility, we have like a really big shade house with a bunch of different plants, and we have a greenhouse. And probably my favorite things are probably going to be like, I don't know, it's a hard question, but like any sort of like alocasia or like elephant ears, those are really pretty, or like caladiums. I always make a joke that if I was a plant, I was going to be a caladium because they kind of do look like alocasias, but they hang over, but they're pink. They have like they're in the middle.
They're
They're pink and
beautiful.
yeah, they are really pretty. So I don't
Absolutely.
I.
Have you been to Lake Placid, Casey?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, we gotta take a day trip. You're gonna love it. If you love caladiums, you can just drive down like the old back roads and it's fields of caladiums as far as the eye can see. And it's beautiful. It's like all the different colors. I love it. You'll definitely have to take a road trip and go see them.
Oh yeah.
I'm over here Googling what all of these flowers look like. Plant, trying to figure it out. I feel like we do not have those in Iowa that grow all the time. I
Our
thought
tropical climate lets us grow some pretty cool
Mhm.
things down here.
But
yeah.
also what's like a downside to like a lot of like the colorful and like pretty like plants is that we have to kind of schedule like the year out and figure out which plants are in season because like for caladiums or there's another one that I said that I really like and I wouldn't been able to show it. But like if they're not in season for January, you can't there's really no point for you to register them because they're not going to be at their best. So we kind of do have like a limited category of plants that we can do. But on like the rules, you're open to do whatever you want. Like this past year, now I can't think of what it was called. I was gonna get a miscellaneous plant, and it was like sunberry. Like I can't remember the not a. I don't think it was a mulberry. It was something along those lines, but it like you can do like you even though you're limited to a certain amount for which plants are in which seasons, we are open to do whatever we want. Like a few years ago, there was girls that did like guava trees, and they ended up selling those.
That's cool. I've learned so much and we're so close. It's crazy. So, Casey, your SAEs are phenomenal and you dabble in so many different things. What events do you do in FFA? What are your CDEs or are you dabbling in eh, LDEs too? Excuse me.
The CDEs that I first started with when I jumped into FFA my first year as an officer, or every year as an officer, you're required to do at least 2 CDEs, just to show that you're an officer, so you want to be an active member. And the first ones that I started with were citrus and nursery and landscape, because I had friends from past years. They kind of just threw me in that because they were like, here, just do this because it's a good contest. In Arpendale, we have good resources, so we get pretty far every year. And so I actually made the citrus team for state my first year, and we did pretty good. Um, I never, growing up, I didn't even have a green thumb. I couldn't even tell you like what this weed was or what this grass is, but those CDs really taught me all the plants that we have here. Like every time I walk around somewhere, I'm like, oop, that's juniper, or oop, that's blue days, or it's a game. Like these 2 CDEs have just consumed my life every time I go anywhere. So those were the two that I did start out on, and then I jumped into vegetable. And I this year I did not make the citrus team, or our team made it to state, but I did not make the citrus team. Just to be fair, our chapter pulls the four top scores, and that's our state team. And unfortunately, I was the fifth, so I didn't make the team. And but I did make the vegetable state team, so I did go to states for vegetable, and we did pretty good with that. And then this year, I actually started doing LDEs. I did prepared public speaking, and this was my first year, and my topic was actually about vegetables. It was about like um, farm grown vegetables and how these are good for our community, and how like let's not get rid of farm grown or anything like that. And I actually got second place sub districts. So I was very
Awesome.
surprised with myself. I came a long way from not even being able to speak on over a computer like this. So, and then I also, um, the way our sub districts ran was nobody competed for parliamentary procedure. So we ended up making it to districts, and I jumped into our parliamentary procedure team to go to districts, and we got first place. So then we made it a state, and then we tried our best. We made it a state, and our team came a long way from where we started. Even though we didn't make it to finals, we did really good, and I'm proud of how our team turned out. And then
That's awesome, Casey. I didn't realize the Par Pro story. I know y'all had gone, and I remember sitting in the hallway with you being like, okay, let's see if you made it. But I didn't realize the whole story. Oh my goodness.
yeah, so that
That's
was our
awesome.
first Arbin. That was, I'm pretty sure. I want to say that Miss Shasky has taken a par pro team to state at least sometime in her career, but this is the first time since I've been in high school, and about the first time in a few good years. And so it was a really good accomplishment for our chapter to be able to be at state with an LD competing team. But along with like the our state qualifying teams, I'm one of those members that just does this preliminary exams just for fun, because why not? Because who knows the outcome? So I'm pretty sure I took at least every single uh, pro, oh my gosh, I'm at a loss of words. Prelims. Um, and I took livestock judging, and I mean, I know how to judge animals. Like I can see what a good animal looks like and what a bad animal looks like. But I guess I did not make it up to the standards for livestock judging, and I did so good that my name didn't even come up on our judging list.
I do remember that story. I remember thinking that was funny. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness.
Well,
You've done so much. And I
mhm.
think that's so cool because you've done livestock and plants and you truly have the versatility of FFA. Do you plan on taking any of this to school with you, like for further education? What do you want to major in? Do you want to continue in agriculture or not?
Yes, I absolutely do want to continue with agriculture. I always go like anytime someone asks me what I want to do after high school. Before I got into high school, it was always like I guess I'll just go to school for medical or nursing or just something that sounded good to see that I was excelling in life and to make my parents proud. And so, but once I got into high school and I fell in love with the agricultural industry, I finally had a purpose for like my life, and I realized that this is where I was truly meant to be. And so my future goals are to attend college. Most likely will be ABAC up in Tifton, Georgia. And I will probably major in agricultural education with a minor in animal sciences and become an ag teacher just because of the impact that I have had by my ag teachers. And just I want to give back to what gave to me, and I want to inspire the lives of the future of agriculture the way my life was inspired.
Oh my gosh, that's like a true testament. Like, I don't know, like a fairy tale of what FFA is, or at
Right,
least for me. Like, you didn't come from an agriculture background, yet you found a love for it in the classroom, and then you tried new things, and now you want to pour back into something that poured so much into who you are. And I think that's a testament of what FFA does for students and
right,
really shows that the organization isn't just education based, it truly is a family. And even more so than leadership, it's personal development.
right,
And I wish like every kid had the chance to wear the blue jacket, or maybe not even be in FFA, just sit in an ag classroom, not to find out where their food comes from, but to really self-reflect and to grow and to learn hard work and all the different things that being in an ag class or wearing the blue jacket teaches you.
right. And I always go back to my ninth grade year. Like I remember it like it was yesterday. My ninth grade advisor, he asked the class, he was like, "Who raise your hand if you want to become an FFA advisor or an FFA officer?" And not knowing what it would entail or not knowing like anything that like I would do with this position, I raised my hand. And if I didn't raise my hand that day, or if I wasn't given the opportunity to interview, my life, I don't even know what my life would consist of today. Like, I don't know who I would be. Like, if would I, like, would my FFA career, would it have began a year later, or would I have just stuck to just doing pigs and just being a member? And so it's just, that just always sits in the back of my head. And I'm just so grateful that I did raise my hand that day and I got over of what people said of because I did have people say I wouldn't do it because I just feel like there's a lot of drama and I think it's going to consume a lot of your time and just things like that that people told me. And I'm just really grateful that I didn't listen, that I didn't take their advice in that aspect because I have like achieve so many different things because not only am I a chapter officer, but I am one of our Polk County Federation officers, and I just got elected as our District 8 co-chair slash secretary. So
You go, girl. You're gonna do so many great things, and you're going into your senior year.
yes,
Soak it all in like a big old sponge, because if you don't learn anything from me ever, I rushed it my senior year. I wanted to go, 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 go and get it over with so I could hurry up and get to college or get to state office, whatever that path was going to be. Don't rush it. Soak it all in. Love your friends, love your family. Oh my goodness. And just enjoy your time being a kid, because so many people say that to you and you don't listen, like I
right,
did, because I didn't
right,
listen. And now sitting here at school, I wish I would have soaked it in and really lived in those moments and valued that time. So soak it all in and enjoy everything you're doing.
Thank you, Cacee, for joining us today. We are so excited for you and your future and your senior year of high school coming up. That's going to be awesome. Like Paige said, to just soak it all in. I think that's so important. As an adult, getting to talk with all these students, it's so cool to see the passions that you guys have and the aspirations for your future. So I'm excited to touch base with you in the future. But for now, for everybody listening, make sure to follow along to Beyond the Jacket on all of the major platforms and tune into other episodes because we have more students like Cacee excelling in their SAEs and in their FFA journeys.